To help you out as we push toward our spring concert with Metroplex. I'm using the octave down variant of the score from 61 to the end, but everything here should hopefully help you out and apply, even if you're playing it as written with some of the stuff octave up. So just a couple of things here to help you out as I look through the score and keep thinking about things that will kind of continue to make things clear. With our 16th note runs here throughout the piece, I hear some of you guys, oftentimes saying that you kind of get lost with them or some things don't line up, and a lot of times it's possible that we get off somewhere in one of those runs and we're not sure what beat we're on. Keep in mind that most of these runs, the 16th notes are grouped by beat, so it's oftentimes a good idea if you want to know exactly what beat you're on in each measure, put a slash at the beginning of each one of those groups of 16th notes, because that's going to tell you what beat you're on, right? So if we're in 3/4, here's beat 1, here's beat 2, here's beat 3. You can go through that for each everywhere if you want. Same thing here, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. And then over here is beat 1. You can continue that process. There's a couple spots where where obviously it doesn't work when we're kind of going between measures. This is not a beat. This is between beats, right? But even here in the 5/4, here's beat 2. This is beat 3 is a rest. Here's beat 4. Here's beat 5. Rest. Here's beat 2. So it kind of follows through. When we're in 4/4, here's beat 1. Here's beat 2. Here's beat 3. Here's beat 4, and so forth. So it's a matter of kind of not knowing where you're at when those runs, when you're playing. That could be something that could be helpful for you. Sometimes we feel kind of a little bit overwhelmed in our chromatic passages, and our chromatic passages happen in a couple different spots. One of the bigger sections for us with that is kind of coming out of that stuff at 96 and going into 108. So we have some stuff starting right here. These last couple measures going into 108. And some of them can kind of be an extended section. What I would tell you to do there, and here's a pretty good example of one where it's a much bigger example of a chromatic scale than what we normally do. But inside that chromatic scale is our B flat to B flat chromatic scale. So if we start here, there's our B flat. There's our B flat. Practice that B flat to B flat chromatic scale as fast as you can, cleanly, and then back it up and add the rest of this on and see if we can build that. So there's our B flat to B flat chromatic scale. Here's our F to F chromatic scale that we've been working on in the last couple days in concert band, in warm-ups, right? Now, it might be up the octave from where we've been playing it, but there's our F to F chromatic scale. So use some of that to your advantage. We have little fragments of it other places. Here again, here's our B flat to B flat chromatic scale. Over here going into 96, we have a little bit, couple notes, couple extra notes, but find that B flat to B flat chromatic scale, get it clean, and then add some of those extra notes in if you need to. Again, B flat to B flat chromatic scale. Find that, and then we have some of this other stuff coming up outside of it. The other thing I would tell you to do is find some patterns. Find some things to help you practice smarter and not harder. And we've talked about some of these patterns, right? That four note pattern we have a bunch of times, or over here, right? That we have here. We get it again. We also get it towards the end, right? We get it a bunch of times. The same notes. Right? So find those patterns and work those patterns. Over here. Whoops. Sorry. We have the same we have some patterns here that go over and over and over and over again. So let's do some things that are going to help you work smarter, not harder. And the last thing I would say, you notice I have some extra stems here, I have some extra beams here. What I'll post on the website, if some of these 16th notes at this tempo are still not firing for you, The last thing you can do is do some simplification, where you can play some of this as eighth notes. If it's still just you're just still struggling to get all these notes in your fingers, and that's okay. There are a lot of notes in this piece. I can post some simplification, and what you can do is omit in some of these instances every other note, and what you do is you end up with eighth notes instead. Now there's going to be some alignment issues, right, where you're going to have to kind of feel those eighth notes instead of the 16th notes, and I have both of them. You see in some of these instances I kind of show you the eighth notes and the 16th notes together and where they are. But if that would be something that you feel you would be more successful with, I have some spots here for you where you can use the eighth notes instead, and I can, again, I will post those to Schoology so you can use it. I'm not giving you the option to play them as all eighth notes, but there's some stuff where, yeah, some of those notes and some of those fingerings are a little rough, and you can use that. You can use those to your advantage. So what I'm going to do here, again, as hopefully what is going to be a helpful tool for you, is play this through a bunch of times at a slow tempo and get increasingly faster for you as a way to kind of let you have some play along time to help you out. There'll be a metronome click behind it. It won't work out super well, the metronome click in the 7/8 with the way the beats group, but hopefully it's going to help you out. Now it will click through all of the rest, unfortunately, but that will hopefully give you some time to kind of reset and be ready if it doesn't line up with your playing. So I'm going to let this play through a couple times for you. We're going to start pretty slow, and we'll ramp it up to where we'd like to get it for the concert performance. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'm going to ask you guys for some feedback in the way of a video of you guys playing it, so I can hear what you're doing. Here we go. Here it is a little faster. A little faster. A little faster. Two more. And last time. Our concert performance tempo goal. So I hope this is helpful. I know this is kind of a long video, but I'm hoping that this gives you a chance to do some practicing with the recording. Push yourselves a little bit, guys. Challenge yourselves, and I'm hoping this helps you grow. And I'm hoping that I've been able to help you in that growth a little bit. Don't hesitate to ask me for more help if you have questions. And yeah, let's have a great concert.